It's the most wonderful time of the year and the Premier League is back. We've got all the trimmings on the table with a full schedule of matches. And joining me for this Christmas cracker of a football show, it's a former Sunderland defender, Micky Gray. Micky, thanks for joining us. We'll be unwrapping the Premier League very, very shortly. But reflection on the World Cup, what a final.
Oh, it was incredible, wasn't it? I think normally it's kind of the calm before the storm, isn't it? But when that game got going, it was just no let-up. It was fantastic. It was brilliant football. Yeah, there was mistakes, of course there was, but some of the goals that we got, and obviously got some incredible stories with Mbappe and Messi. It was just fantastic. Has
Messi settled the debate now? The greatest?
Possibly. I think you'll still have people who question it, but I mean, his performances in the World Cup, they were off the charts, weren't they? Himself and Mbappe, I mean, they just lit the place up. Every single game they played, they were fantastic. But I think when you pick up that World Cup, I mean, he's a special talent. It would have been so disappointing if he'd gone all throughout his career and not won a big trophy like that. I'm talking about major for his country. But he's just fantastic to watch. And we're going to miss him, so enjoy him while he's still here.
And normally, of course, we have a 4-week gap and we want the football back after the World Cup. Well, we've already had the Carabao Cup and we've got the Scottish Premiership. That's back already as well, and the Championship. But the Premier League returns on Boxing Day. Before we look at the top of the table, quick one, Micky. It's slight change, isn't it? Because it used to be Boxing Day, another game, then New Year's Day. Just spread a bit longer this year, which will help the players because, let's be honest, for a lot of them, it's like starting again, isn't it?
Yeah. Now they're going to need it. I have to say, I mean, it's a great time to play the matches because everybody's excited and they enjoy going to the stadiums and everybody else gets dressed up and stuff, don't they, on Boxing Day and stuff like that. But as a player, and I'm talking from experience, you're in hotels. Christmas night, you're in hotels if you're playing an away game. The same on New Year's Eve, and you hear the music from the hotel and wherever you have to stay. So it can be a bit frustrating and annoying. All the players basically want to do is just get on the football pitch and play as many matches as they possibly can. And I love the Christmas period. So yeah, it's nice that it's spread out. We're going to get to see pretty much all of the games, which is fantastic. Obviously a little bit like the World Cup. There's certain games on certain days, but this time can you look at it and you think, right, this is a great time for us to push towards the top of the table, or if you're at the bottom of the table, it's also nice if you get on a nice little run, you can get yourself out of that relegation fight.
Because of the gap, could we see a few surprises?
Yeah, I think we will, and I also think that you have to take into consideration, it's been a season like no other. With the World Cup, you don't know what the players are going to be like when they come back. I know there's obviously certain players who were at the World Cup, they have came back and they've been involved in games already. But you just don't know if they're going to hit the ground running. We know what the Premier League's like. Every single time you play, it's fast and frantic. And if the players are not up for it and they've been away for 4 weeks or whatever it might be, it can be a difficult time.
So let's have a look at the top of the table. It's a while since I've looked at the table. And Arsenal are top, 5 points clear. And we're just over a third of the way there. Of course, 38 games in the Premier League season. Are Arsenal getting the credit they deserve? 5 points clear.
They should do.
Or does everyone keep thinking they're going to slip up at some point?
Yeah, I think that's what everybody's been waiting for, isn't it? But they definitely deserve the credit. They've been absolutely fantastic. I think they've got that nice blend of youth and experience. The big thing for me, Mark, with Arsenal now is Gabriel Jesus. He's going to be out for a while, and he's been sensational for Arsenal. He really has.
We don't know exactly how long, but it could be months, couldn't it?
Yeah, so you're talking about Martinelli, Smith Rowe might get himself into the starting 11. They've obviously got some really good players. Saka, obviously, is another one. But it's going to be interesting to see how they feel the pressure of Man City, Newcastle, Tottenham, Manchester United on their coattails. Yes, they've got a nice little lead at the moment and they might need it.
The transfer window opens in 8 days' time. Let's have a look at the bottom of the table. Wolves are currently bottom. Southampton second bottom. Forest. But it is very, very tight at the bottom of the table. Look at that.
Yeah. It's tough, isn't it? I mean, I think we all thought before the season started it was going to be a struggle for Southampton. Nottingham Forest, of course, was going to be another one. But there's so many surprises, isn't there? I mean, West Ham, we all thought were going to push on from the great season they had last season. Everton, you just didn't know what was going to happen until they went into the transfer market. So 3 points anytime around Christmas, Mark, are absolutely huge. Just to give yourself that breathing space from the bottom three, but who can pick the three that are going to go down at the end of the season? It's so tough.
Well, let's start looking at the games on the Boxing Day. 12:30, we start with Brentford versus Spurs. Spurs are just a touch of odds on. Will we see Harry Kane? I think we probably will, won't we?
Yeah.
13 for Spurs this season. He's 5-2 to score first. How do you see Brentford Spurs?
Yeah, I think it'll be a good game. We all know that Brentford are really tough at home to beat, but I think the organisation of Tottenham, I think we'll probably just see them through this one. And you mentioned the guy there. You've got to when you talk about Tottenham, Harry Kane. I think he comes back and he'll hit the ground running. He wants to score as many goals as he possibly can. I mean, he's just a top player, isn't he? But I think, I think Tottenham keep a clean sheet. I've gone for Tottenham to win this one and Harry Kane to get on the score sheet.
What will his mindset be after that missed penalty?
I think players like that, Mark, honestly, I think they brush it off as quick as they possibly can. They basically want to get back on the training field, they want to play football matches, and that's what Harry Kane's all about. He's a goal scorer, he's a winner, and that's what he wants to keep doing.
Come on then, give us a prediction.
I've gone for Tottenham to win 1-0. I think it'll be a tough game, that, but Harry Kane to score.
Let's have a look at some more games on Boxing Day. Leicester, Newcastle. This is interesting because obviously Leicester turned things around a little bit. Newcastle, third. And Pep Guardiola, before the World Cup, was saying he expects Newcastle to stay up there because they've not got European football.
Yeah.
They can concentrate on finishing in the Champions League. I know it's obviously tough for you with your Sunderland connections, but Eddie Howe's doing a very good job up at Newcastle, isn't he?
He's doing an absolutely brilliant job, and there's no hiding away from the fact, Mark. You know, they're not going to go away, Newcastle. They're only going to get better, and it's interesting, and rightly so, that you bring it up about no distractions, really. I think Eddie Howe's got a real great chance this season of maybe even picking up silverware for Newcastle, but top four is a possibility because of the energy levels, the football that they're playing. You go to St James's Park at the moment, it is like a fortress. I mean, the atmosphere there, everybody's excited about it. But then on the other hand, you've got Leicester who've just turned a corner, haven't they? I mean, they're playing some really good stuff. Probably the World Cup came at the bad time for them, but...
They could have moved and got rid of Brendan Rodgers.
Yeah.
Stuck with him, and he has turned it around, hasn't he?
Yeah, there was, I think it was, just basically before the World Cup, there was talk about Brendan maybe walking away or getting sacked from the club, but I think they've stuck with him. They've now starting to play that flowing football that we see Leicester play. Jamie Vardy's getting himself back on the score sheet. They've got some really good forward players. And with Tielemans in that midfield area as well, you always excite you. I think this is a tough one to call, I really do. I think maybe people would sway towards Newcastle, but I think the goals that Leicester can get, I've gone for a 2-2 draw. I think it's going to be a really good game.
2-2 draw. Right, let's move to the 5:30 kickoff. Aston Villa versus Liverpool. Liverpool obviously lost last night. What a brilliant game that was in the Carabao Cup. Aston Villa versus Liverpool. I think this is a tough return to the Premier League for Liverpool.
Yeah, it is, but I think Liverpool have got to keep winning if they're going to get themselves anywhere near that top four. It was a really slow start to the season. I think we all know that they're not going to pick up the title come the end of the season, Mark. And what do you get from Aston Villa? One week they look fantastic, then another week, you know, they look as if they just put 11 players out there. That's the big problem I've got with Villa. I think they're going to be fine. I think they will finish mid-table come the end of the season, but I just think the firepower and the quality Liverpool have got in those forward areas will see them win away from home. Because
Liverpool are a long way adrift. I mean, forget winning a title now, 15 points, but it's 7 points to get back into the Champions League spots.
Yeah, it's massive, and that's why I say it's so important for them. Obviously disappointed they've gone out the Carabao Cup. They were the holders of that. But I just think more importantly, they've got to try and chase down those top four positions. This season's going to be so hard for them, so 3 points is massive at any time you get them.
Do you get the feeling he might move this transfer window, Klopp? Certainly the midfield looks like it could do with a boost.
Well, he needs to, yeah. There's been talk of a couple of players. I mean, we saw a lot in the World Cup, but until they do it, you just don't know if they're going to put their hand in the pocket. They're going to bring in players.
Yeah, because they're up for sale, aren't they?
Yeah, hugely experienced side, but they do need freshening up. But I'm not too sure January is going to be the window they do it, and I think it'll be this summer. Right,
prediction then for Aston Villa, Liverpool.
Both sides to score, but I've gone for Liverpool to win 3-1 here.
3-1. Right, let's just go back to some of the 3 o'clock kickoffs, and then I'll talk about Arsenal that play at 8 o'clock. Palace versus Fulham at 3 o'clock on Boxing Day.
Well, Fulham have been great, haven't they? I've surprised a lot of people this season. High energy. Started off the season against Liverpool. I thought they were absolutely fantastic, and they've not let up. And everybody was questioning, could Mitrovic now score goals in the Premier League? Well, he's proven everybody wrong. I think he's been a top player this season. Crystal Palace, I think everybody have applauded Patrick Vieira and the way that they play. But they've got to start winning, Mark, and that's a big problem for them. Find themselves in obviously the bottom half of the table. They're struggling a little bit. Again, I don't think they're going to be in major trouble when it comes to finishing in the bottom three. I think they'll be fine. But your Zahas, your Ayus, those type of players have got to start scoring. They've got to keep clean sheets. Don't think it happens against Crystal Palace. Can't split them. Don't think it happens against Fulham. But I can't split the two sides. I think both sides score. I've gone 1-1 draw.
1-1. I tell you what, we're going for plenty of goals on Boxing Day. We'll talk about goals galore in a moment. Right, Everton versus Wolves, 3 o'clock Boxing Day.
Yeah, new manager for Wolves. You really don't know what 11 they're going to play, what style of football, if he's going to change things around. I think Frank will be happy that this game's come around the Christmas period because it's always nice, if you get a new manager like Wolves have got and they walk through the door. But I think Everton is settled. They know what's coming. They've got to win football matches. I've gone Everton to win 2-1.
Everton to win 2-1. And then Southampton-Brighton. No doubt Brighton will be without their World Cup winner. I think he's still partying in Buenos Aires, isn't he?
I think everybody is in Argentina. But yeah, it's brilliant. I mean, again, you look at Brighton and I think everybody's impressed with the high intensity in the football that they play.
They're 7th.
And the big question for them has always been, can they get that centre forward who's going to get you the 15 to 20 goals a season to maybe push them into those European positions? Southampton, for me, are really struggling this time around. Yes, new manager again. Things are going to be happening for them over the next 2 or 3 weeks. I think it's a bit of a sticky period over the Christmas time. I've gone for Brighton to win away from home at Southampton 2-1.
Yeah, some good results this year, Brighton, haven't they? Especially at Chelsea as well. That was very, very impressive. At Man United as well. So 2-1 Brighton. Right, let's go to the 8 o'clock kickoff. Arsenal versus West Ham. Look, I'm looking forward to this because I want to see, you mentioned no Jesus, I want to see where are Arsenal at. I think, they're 5 points clear, but everyone is still expecting Man City to win the league.
Yeah.
But they are 5 points clear, Arsenal.
Well, again, and I said, they've been absolutely fantastic. Mate, you talk about surprise packages, and I think, we probably look at Brighton, Newcastle, but Arsenal, the way that they've started, they've just not let up. They've had some big games, really good performances. It's going to be interesting to see what they are like without Jesus, because they haven't got that focal point now. They're going to have to put somebody else in there, and how he adapts to that Arteta, whether he does something in January or not, we're going to obviously have to wait and see. But I don't see them going anywhere. Because of the football, the style of play that they play, I think West Ham are really struggling at the moment. I expected them to kick on, but it just hasn't happened for David Moyes this season.
Because Arteta, he doesn't really tinker, does he?
No.
He's been keeping it the same side, and it's paid off.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think the players obviously enjoy that. And we'll keep going back to this, but it's how they're going to be reacting after coming back from the World Cup. What are the players going to be like? Are they going to settle straight back into Premier League football? It's going to be the same for everybody, of course it is. But West Ham and David Moyes were probably thinking, I need my players to go away, get a bit of confidence, and then when we come back, hit the ground running. But I just don't think it's going to happen against Arsenal.
So, come on, give us a score.
I've gone Arsenal to win 2-0. Don't see West Ham scoring in this game.
7 Premier League games on Boxing Day. Obviously, the Championship, League 1, League 2, fixtures up in Scotland as well. Could be a perfect day for goals galore. It's the best bet out there because you're in it until the final kick of the game. And all you need is both teams to score and you're collecting. I think it's a cracking bet for Boxing Day. And I've not done this. Well done to Lewis, who's done this analysis. I do like this. Goals galore in the Premier League. Fulham are top of the table. So 80% of Fulham's games have been goals galore when both teams score. Fulham are at Palace. Spurs are at Brentford. They're 67% of their games. Leeds, we'll talk about them in a moment. They're at home to City, 64%. So look at that. I thought that was really interesting if you do like your goals galore.
It's unbelievable, that, isn't it? I think, you'd probably, when you look at that, you always maybe think about the top sides being at the top of that table with the percentages being really high, but both teams to score. Fulham, Tottenham, Leeds, Liverpool, Brentford, and I mean, that's just to name a few of them at the top of that list. It's incredible, that.
I do like that. When both teams score, it's goals galore. It's the best football bet out there. Certainly, if you're planning to put your feet up on Boxing Day and just watch sport all day, and there's no darts on the TV on Boxing Day. That resumes on the 27th. We have got a big horse race, haven't we? The King George at 2:20. Right, let's move to some more festive fixtures for you. Tuesday night, Chelsea versus Bournemouth. And again, we spoke about Liverpool. Chelsea are in 8th.
Yeah.
I mean, Graham Potter could be under a bit of pressure soon.
I think he has to be. We know what it's like when you're managing or coaching a club like Chelsea. I mean, they change the managers if things aren't going well for you. And they will not want to be in the position that they find themselves in right now. And I bring Liverpool into this conversation and talk about how important it is to keep winning football matches. Well, Chelsea, we all talk at the beginning of the season about them finishing second or maybe third in the table. Well, at the moment, they've got to win football matches, Mark, because they're in trouble. I don't think they've really had that flow this season. Raheem Sterling, just to mention one. You know, you think walking through the door at Chelsea is going to make them better, but it hasn't really. Changing manager, ownership, that's obviously been a big turnaround as well at that club. So I think they're in a little bit of turmoil, Chelsea, and they need to get themselves going.
Come on, give us a score.
I've gone for Chelsea to actually win against Bournemouth. I think it's going to be a struggle, but I do see both sides scoring. But I've gone Chelsea to win 2-1.
2-1 Chelsea. Also on Tuesday night, Manchester United versus Nottingham Forest. Right, your TalkSport's Manchester reporter. I think they said to Ten Hag at the beginning of the season, finish in top 4.
Yeah, and silverware. I think, as we see in the Carabao Cup, I think they're taking it super serious, obviously in the quarterfinals of that, which is great for them. I think you can see the confidence there now. They've obviously had this uproar and turmoil of Cristiano Ronaldo. He was once there, then he's left out the side, then he's walking down the tunnel. It just seemed like it was all about
I think we all
him.
knew it was an exit interview, didn't we?
It was a massive distraction for them, Mark, this season, and you can't criticise him for what he achieved last season. 26, 27 goals he got, but this time around, he was that year older. You see the former Rashford, you look at Martial coming back, you look at the other forward players that are now starting to burst onto the scene, Elanga, Garnacho. I just think he got a little bit frustrated, but look, it's now after Cristiano Ronaldo. You look at Marcus Rashford, the look at the form that he's in at the moment, he's absolutely electric. His goal in the Carabao Cup was absolutely top class.
3 for England as well, yeah.
So I think that they're going places, Manchester United, and it's not backwards. You know, what we've seen over the last 3 or 4 seasons is just not Manchester United. I think Ten Hag is getting a tune out of his players. They're playing some really good football. Yeah, at times they look as if they're susceptible to a goal. But who cares? Man United have been like that for years and years and years. But they look so exciting. And it's not finished there. I think they're going to get stronger. They're going to get better. I tip them to finish in the top 4. Could actually finish 3rd. I think second's probably a big push when you look at Arsenal and Man City. And they look really strong this season. But there's no doubt they're getting better, Man United.
Because in May, it's 10 years since Fergie went.
Yeah.
So is Ten Hag finally getting it right?
Yes, he's the manager for them. There's no question. I'm fortunate to go to the training ground at certain times through the month. So
is the atmosphere different now?
Yeah, it's really good.
Because it's been bad, hasn't it, at times over the last 10 years?
Yeah, I interviewed a couple of the players only yesterday. I was with Lindelof and Christian Eriksen, who've just come back, obviously, from the World Cup and got a goal in the Carabao Cup. They looked as if they were happy, you know, broad shoulders, smile on their face, they were enjoying it. Players don't really like getting interviewed, to be honest with you, but they were fine for 10 or 15 minutes. And then I watched a bit of the training session. It looked sharp, bright. And you see that on the football pitch. Everybody wants to play. Everybody wants to get in that starting 11 for Man United now. And that's why I say they're going places. They've got to start winning trophies again. I don't think the Premier League's going to be there. Maybe even next season as well. But it's not going to take them too long now.
Marcus Rashford, 4-1 to score first. How well is he? I mean, that was a cracking goal in the Carabao Cup. How well is he playing, Marcus Rashford? 3 goals for England, 12 goals this season.
As good as I've seen since he broke on to the scene. Pardon the pun, but, you know, he's a little bit older now. He's a little bit wiser. You could see he lost his way. Distractions away from the football pitch didn't really help him. Maybe playing for managers before Ten Hag walked through the door that didn't really fancy him, didn't see Marcus Rashford as Manchester United moving forward. And let's not forget, his contract could be running out very, very shortly as well. So I think he needs to put pen to paper. He's absolutely adored and loved there, Mark. And if he keeps playing the way he is right now, he's going to play for England more, he's going to score more goals, and he's going to start winning trophies for Man United again.
I wonder if Gareth Southgate watched that goal on Tuesday night and thought maybe I should have brought him on a bit earlier against France.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right, Haaland, 24 goals already before Christmas. And obviously he's just had 6 weeks off as well. 7-4 to score first at Leeds. Sorry, I didn't get your prediction.
I'm going to go Man United to beat Forest 2-0.
2-0. Right, we're talking Man City. Brilliant game against Liverpool on Thursday night. Haaland, 24 goals already. Now, that first goal, obviously, it's a great cross by De Bruyne.
Yeah.
But the way he gets his crosses defender, not with his head, and puts his foot out and scores a goal.
He's just brilliant. I mean, there's no weak point about his game. He's just a goal machine.
He could get 50 goals, couldn't he?
Well, could get more than that, actually. But I think it's the desire, Mark. You just mentioned there, right? So 4 or 5 weeks he's not played. He's not been involved in a World Cup, so he's obviously frustrated. He's been watching that. Yes, he's had a game behind closed doors and he's been training. But 10 minutes into a game against a side like Liverpool, and that's what you get from him. He's a goal machine. He's a freak of nature. I've not seen many like him in the Premier League, I've got to admit. Look, you talk about Thierry Henry, different type of player. Ruud van Nistelrooy, I think you maybe mention him on the same level as scoring goals, the way he wants to score goals and loves scoring goals. But you talk about that missing piece in the jigsaw for Man City. He's it. They had Aguero for many years, and what a sensational player. But this fella could break so many records, it's unbelievable.
And how good was Kevin De Bruyne last night?
I've said
I love watching him.
Well, I do, Mark. I mean, what a surprise in the World Cup, because when you talk about the best midfield players in the world and the best players in the world, you talk about Kevin De Bruyne. But he was frustrated at the World Cup, and he said maybe we're all a little bit too old. That's why we're not going to continue.
Clearly, something went right in that squad, was it, for Belgium?
And then he comes back and he performs like that for Man City. That's what he is. He's just a special talent that we enjoy every single time we see him play, whether it's scoring goals, whether it's assisting. He's just sensational, and I mean, he's a special guy.
Leeds are 15th. Where are Leeds at? Obviously, they beat Chelsea at home, and they went on that awful run.
Well, I covered that game, actually, when they beat Chelsea, and they were fantastic. But that's what you get from Leeds at certain times. They need everybody fit, and if they're not fit, they're going to really struggle. They've got a manager, another one who could have walked out the door. He could have lost his post. He didn't. They've stuck with him. I think January might be an interesting month for them, whether they bring in another centre forward, because clearly they're not getting enough goals. And I think that's what they're probably going to need, maybe another centre half, because they've got to keep clean sheets. We all know you've got to get that balance right of keeping clean sheets if you can and scoring goals at the other end. And I think that's what Leeds have found really difficult this season. Again, I think it's going to be one of them seasons where they're kind of tinkering with bottom three, just above it. I hope they're going to be all right, but they're not going to get anything against Man City.
Prediction?
And Man City to win 3-1.
3-1.
Haaland to score again.
Right then. It's that time of year we make predictions, isn't it? So just before we finish, who's going to win a title?
Man City.
Yeah. Who's going to be the other three to finish in top four then? You said you think Man United will finish third, so you're going Man City, Arsenal, Man United. Who's going to finish fourth? Can you dare say it?
I know what you want me to say, and they'll come really close. But I just think Liverpool. I think Liverpool will get themselves in the top four.
So you're
Newcastle
going
will just miss out.
Man City, Arsenal, Man United, Liverpool. Right, the conversation no one likes. The bottom three. Who's going down?
Nottingham Forest. Southampton. I think this could be their year of going down. And Bournemouth. That's my three.
Mickey, thanks for what you've done for us so far this
Pleasure.
year. Enjoy the festive football. Merry Christmas. I believe you're cooking Christmas dinner, aren't you? So
yes.
Best of luck.
I'll need it, yeah.
Best of luck. At least you're not eating in a hotel like when you were a player.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. I'm better at betting than cooking.
Right, Mickey, thanks for joining us. Have a Merry Christmas, everyone. And please, if you're having a bet this festive period, there's so much sport, but if you're having a bet, only ever bet what you can afford to lose. So gamble responsibly. See you soon. Have a brilliant time.